Imagine you're part of finance team and someone has walked into your office and told you that your first AASB S2 climate disclosure is due less than 12 months. You open a document, you start typing, and then you stop. Because AASB S2 doesn't give you a template. It doesn't tell you what to write, in what order, and what does a finished disclosure looks like. It gives you the principle and the technical standard and leaves the rest to you. So the problem I'm trying to solve is to give you a tool, which is Climate Report Builder and Impact Accounting Hub. It's absolutely free, first of all. So it's free, there's no paywall here. So the intention here is to build a tool which will make the implementation process easier for you. So in this video, we're going to look at the first section of this tool, which is basis of preparation. Before you start working on the tool, um, there are certain documents if you have in front of you, that's going to be great. Your most recent financial statements, if possible, your strategic plan of your company, and if you have done any previous climate related lodgements in the past, if needed by your company. If you have all of these three documents right now, it's going to be great. If you don't have it right now, you can leave some of the questions unanswered and come back and fill it up later. If you're doing it for the purpose of learning, you can create a fictitious company and start filling this up. So the step one is pretty straightforward. The first question is enter the entity name, which is there in the financial statement, which industry it belongs to, and the reporting group. The reporting group is either you're in group 2 or group 3. If you don't know, you will see a help text here. If you click there, you will see if you're group 2, the conditions, which will help you to determine whether you're a group 2 or group 3 company. So I'm gonna, for the purpose of this example, let's say I'm gonna say I am a company in financial services, and I am in group two, and I'm gonna move. So the next question would cover what period this report covers. This has to be aligned with your financial reporting, and if not, you need to explain why. So for the purpose of this demo, I have entered a start date and date of the financial period this report covers. Right. Now, this third step, the user or the company needs to confirm their time horizon. This is one important thing which matters. ASB S2 would ask you to divide your future into three buckets: short term, medium term, and long term. And most people would do exactly like they might enter short term as 0 to 2, 3 to 5, and 5 to 30 years, let's say. But here's a problem. When you define your short term, medium term, long term, there has to be some basis of how you've decided it, because it has to go through the audit process. And the audit in order to support your definition of short term, medium, and long term, it has to be aligned with the company um, with the company policies or strategies. So, for example, if you define the short term as 0 to 2 years, and you could give the evidence to the auditor that's anchored with the annual budget cycle, that's a fair assumption. Medium term as 3 to 5, because that's aligned with the board strategic plan. That's the horizon that the board actually uses to plan things, and it's there in the existing document. That's defensible as well. And long term could be 5 to 30 years, reflecting the longest property leases on the books, or typically that's a long term view the company takes while taking a decision, buying an asset, or making a key strategy. That's These are general um, reasoning of defining short term, medium term, long term. The focus here is to explain to the users of this climate risk reporting that, hey, I have defined the short term, medium to long term um, horizon. And in this report, if I explain that the financial impact of this climate risk is, let's say, in the range of $1 to $10 billion, in which time horizon? In short term, the user can understand, oh, they're looking at 0 to 2 years. Medium term, oh, they're looking at 3 to 5. Long term, maybe 5 to 30. So that gives user the understanding of the impact, the potential impact of the climate responsibility. And whatever you enter here would be used in all different places. Then we have the next section, which covers scope three. Um, don't overthink this right now. If you are in the first year of your climate risk reporting under AASB S2, you would elect for the transition relief and exclude scope 3 for the first year. For now, just make a selection that you will go for the transition relief and not disclose scope 3 in the first year. And then you have to enter the next financial year. When do you plan to disclose it? And again, you would see help text everywhere, which explains um, the key questions and how to answer it, which will be helpful for you. The next one would ask, how has the emissions been calculated? Um, this question, so there are a couple of options here, whether you have used NGA, NGER measurements, or a combination of both. Um, one thing is to flag here, whatever you select needs to match with the methodology you would actually use to enter your emission numbers in section 8. So you have to be consistent. Um, if you're reporting for the first time, most likely it's going to be CGG protocol, but you need to check what um, emission, like which emission factors or compliance you need to look at. Um, uh, you need to use as a base to calculate your emissions. It might depend on different industries. It might depend on the industry you belong to. It's good to check which one will be applicable for you. Then the next part is which part of business um, did you include? Now, this is where you decide whether you have included everywhere you have a financial control, um, or you have covered everywhere where you manage your day-to-day operation. That's typically what the companies would choose, but in proportion to the ownership share. So you need to disclose that, which determines how the emissions has been reported. The most common one would be to cover entities where you cover day-to-day operations. So once you answer these questions, it would kind of confirm whether you have completed the basic preparation section. And what you would see on the right hand side is disclosures being updated as you have answered. And this becomes a reference point or this becomes a memo or a disclosure which will be added to your disclosure report with the first section called basis of preparation, which will explain the users what are the key decision points you have taken in order to prepare your climate risk reporting. Um, I hope this was helpful. In the next video, we'll look at how to take care of what are the transition relief available within the standard, and we'll go through that section in detail. Thank you.